Are you secretly running on empty, pouring out for everyone else while your own soul dries up, wondering if anyone even notices the warning signs flashing in your spirit? Spiritual burnout is not a distant danger reserved for overcommitted pastors or church leaders. It's a hidden epidemic stalking those who serve, worship, and strive to live out their faith, often silently and in isolation. The symptoms creep in quietly at first. Maybe you've noticed it in the sudden heaviness that falls over prayer, that sense of talking to a wall when you try to reach God, or the creeping suspicion that worship has lost its meaning, turning praise songs into mere background noise and sacred routines into empty rituals where joy used to overflow. But the truth is, the loss isn't just emotional. Spiritual burnout often brings emotional exhaustion so severe that you dread any new request, any additional Bible study, or even a single text from your church group inviting you to serve. This unrelenting weariness, described in Scripture as a soul cast down and disquieted within me, Psalm 42 verse 5, can leave you irritable, numb, and shockingly detached, even from things, people, and ministries you once loved. Cynicism can start to whisper its lies. Does any of this matter? Shifting your thoughts from hope and faith to a cold skepticism about the very beliefs that once anchored you. Perhaps most insidious is the spiritual strain that grows as you sense a deepening distance from God, an unspoken gap that prayer and worship no longer seem to bridge. You might secretly wonder if you failed or if God is suddenly silent, or worse, disappointed. This is a hidden warning, a spiritual check engine light flashing, because burnout often flourishes where you carry the burdens alone, forgetting the invitation of Jesus. Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Matthew 11:28. Yet, when you ignore rest, overcommit to please others, or try to prove your spiritual worth through relentless service, you're violating God's rhythm of Sabbath that was meant to restore, not restrict. The next warning sign is a loss of joy in serving, where ministry, volunteering, or even helping loved ones shifts from privilege to liability, from overflow to empty obligation. Suddenly, the things you once did out of love for Christ now feel like shackles. Even the Apostle Paul, who urged believers to not grow weary in doing good, Galatians 6:9, knew from experience that weariness could make the most faithful servants want to quit. If service now feels burdensome, if you're only checking boxes out of duty or guilt, burnout has already slipped behind the curtain of your daily life. Perhaps the most shocking warning is social withdrawal, yet it's often overlooked because it masquerades as just needing downtime. If you find yourself dodging fellowship, skipping prayer meetings, or ghosting those who would encourage you, it's not just introversion, it's spiritual isolation, and the enemy loves to pick off the sheep that wanders from the flock. In Ecclesiastes 4:9-10, Scripture warns that two are better than one, for if one falls, the other can help him up. But burnout isolates you, making you believe no one would understand, or worse, that you would be disqualified if they knew how empty and numb you truly feel. The truth is, you were never meant to carry spiritual burdens alone. And the moment you begin to retreat, you make yourself most vulnerable to deception, discouragement, and the enemy's attacks. Finally, the physical consequences of spiritual burnout cannot be ignored. Headaches, insomnia, and a persistent sense of exhaustion that sleep never seems to touch are not just random ailments. They're the body's warning siren that something deeper is off balance. 5. God created you body, mind, and spirit, and when one suffers, all three are affected. Even Elijah, after a mighty spiritual victory, collapsed beneath the weight of exhaustion and fear, begging God to take his life. Yet God's remedy was rest, nourishment, and reassurance, not more tasks. 1 Kings 19:5-8. So if you recognize these warning signs, disconnected prayer, cynicism, joyless service, avoidance of community, or relentless fatigue, don't ignore the spiritual alarms. Burnout thrives in secrecy and shame, but freedom begins when you confront the truth. You are not superhuman, you are not failing God by being tired, and you are never called to serve from an empty well. Right now, resist the urge to retreat alone. Instead, humble yourself before God, reach for community, and dare to rest in his sufficiency. The one who calls you is faithful, and he has not abandoned you in your emptiness. It's time to break the silence, heed the warning, and let your soul breathe again. Your spiritual life depends on it.